Yeah, my name's Priscilla Giddings, and I've lived in Idaho since I was a little kid. Grade school over in Ryrie in eastern Idaho, and then Idaho Falls. Then my junior year, we moved up to Riggins. I graduated high school from Riggins, went off to the military, came back. So I've claimed Idaho as home ever since I was a kid. I'm running for lieutenant governor of the great state of Idaho. Yeah, so kind of there's some history to that. My military service, both as a combat pilot and I'm currently a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force Reserves, and I've seen friends give up their life for other countries like Afghanistan to have the rule of law, to have a constitutional government, to have fair elections. And now in the legislature for the last 6 years, these last 2 years, we have seen unprecedented violations of freedom right here in Idaho. And it seems like Florida's making all the headlines as being the conservative leader. And I'm tired of being jealous of Florida. We need courageous leadership in the executive branch here in Idaho that's going to enforce the rule of law. And Idaho needs to be an ambassador for the entire nation for conservative values. You know, we had more people in Idaho vote for Trump than any other state. Yet we kind of have a blue management team. And so we need more conservative, real conservative leaders to lead our state in the executive branch. And so that's why I said, hey, it's time to jump out of the legislative hamster wheel where we're not getting many conservative ideas passed because conservatives are outnumbered. It's time to jump out of the legislative branch and jump into an executive branch where I can use my leadership skills to lead our great state. Yeah, I think probably encapsulated a little bit of that in my last answer, but it really started off. I serve on the budget committee, and last session we saw some federal grant money where they were going to use the money and start advocating for critical race theory in books for little kids and in critical race theory books. I mean, promoting this Marxist concept to preschoolers. And I'm a mother of two, and that just really hit home for me. And then we even fought it this year. They were continuing to push LGBTQ plus advocacy to our kids through books and libraries, teaching kids to use pronouns when they're 5 years old. I mean, this is just not age appropriate. And so our education system is really needing some attention. And then sitting on the budget committee, I have seen the excessive spending that our state has engaged in. We've nearly doubled our budget just in my 6 years of serving in the legislature, and it's not sustainable. And on top of that, you have all the Biden bucks flooding in, and that's exacerbating inflation. We've tried to stop the tax on groceries. We've tried to put a pause on the tax on gas. And our executive branch and other progressive legislators just won't have it. And so I really saw that there was a need to run for higher office to provide some more leadership in the executive branch.
Perfect. What would you say is the greatest issue Idaho faces today?
There's a lot between critical race theory, our education system needing to be more of parent choice where the money is following the child. We look at property taxes. We have a spending problem, and so property taxes are continuing to skyrocket. It's forcing those on fixed incomes out of their homes. But really, we have an out of control commander-in-chief in the Oval Office who is exacerbating a lot of these problems. And that all, I believe, comes down to two important issues, and that's going to be the spending and election integrity. Idaho's ranked 38th in the nation by the Heritage Foundation for Election Integrity. Just in the last month or so, we found 1,000 people who are deceased that are still on our election rolls. 3 of them asked for absentee ballots a couple weeks ago. And so we've got to clean up our elections here in Idaho, first of all. And then when you have truly elected individuals, we really have got to focus on the budget and the spending. Just this year, we've increased our budget as a state 21%. We've hired 222 new state employees, and the legislature approved a 7% pay raise. All of that, and with all of these inflated prices, that has created more revenue for the state, but the state isn't giving that money back. They, brag about a records return to taxpayers. You can get a $75 check signed by Brad Little right before the primary election, but that's not a tax break. It's a tax shift, and you're going to see higher taxes on just because of the inflation. You're going to be spending more money on taxes, but also your property taxes. And so we have got to get our spending under control. 46% of our budget is coming from the federal government. And that will put us more into dependency on what the federal government and Joe Biden tells us to do unless we can stop that trend. The role of lieutenant governor is dual-hatted. In the Constitution, it says you're the presiding officer over the Senate. So you just make sure that the proceedings of debate and bill just goes smoothly. And then the second role is to be the acting governor if the governor is not able to fulfill the duty or is out of the state. And so you do have a policy bully pulpit. You only get to vote in that Senate if there's a tie, but you can push conservative ideals, America First principles in policy because you have a statewide platform. But what I really see there being opportunity in that second role. So you're in the executive branch. Our Idaho Constitution only allows for 20 agencies, but they've spawned, and with executive orders, there are now 220 state boards, agencies, commissions, and they all report only to the executive branch. And so I think there's a lot of opportunity for accountability for the lieutenant governor to be a liaison for the people, making sure that agencies are following the law and helping to serve the people instead of the other way around. And we've kind of seen that over the last year or two where government has gotten a little bit too much power, and some of these agencies are not really abiding by the law the way that they should be. And so as lieutenant governor, I can be a liaison and really hold them accountable, continue to expose corruption, speak truth to power. I would say that's to exercise their constitutional requirements. And so our defense but also making sure those things that the states can't do. And I've experienced that serving in the military. We do need a strong military, and that is the proper role of government to institute that. But what we've seen is this creep of government, and now we have this fourth branch of government, the administrative state, all the bureaucracies, where now they're saying that regulations that haven't even been voted on by Congress they're calling them laws, when the reality is that they aren't. But with that, we have a very leftist Supreme Court that is backing a lot of this, and so we're very much seeing a trend where they're saying it's a living constitution, and government is growing because of that. We've gotten so far away from that role with the federal government, and that's why I think it's so important that states stand on that 10th Amendment right of our sovereignty and to hold the line. We as a state have more power than we are using. And so we absolutely need leadership in the executive branch that's willing to understand the difference, but also understand the times that we're in and know when is the time to hold the line and to stay sovereign as a state. Goodness, there's so much going on. I'm 11 months into this campaign. You can learn a lot more about our campaign and how I think by reading my newsletters that are on my website at GiddingsForIdaho.com. We're also doing an AR-15 gun giveaway. If you just input your email address, you could be entered to win. We're going to draw for that here in the next couple weeks before the election. But this election literally is the most important election for the future of Idaho. And we have so few Idahoans that actually vote in the primary. We had 550,000 Idahoans vote for Trump, and we might get 200,000 that vote in this May primary. And the line in the sand couldn't be more drastic. The difference between establishment candidates that are very much globally set on. They are more about progress for the globe and the global companies and the international corporations that have a lot of influence in Idaho. And then on the other side of the line are really America First, Idaho First patriots who see that our structure of government is crumbling with these powers that be. But we can win if we have the grassroots support of the people who will actually show up and vote in person. And we're starting to see that at the national level, whether it's Trump trying to start Truth Social, and now Elon Musk taking over Twitter. And if we can get more conservative-minded people to push back against this progressive agenda, we can keep our state like it was when I was growing up as a kid, and why everybody is moving here. Because we love Idaho and we want to keep it great, but it's going to take all hands on deck. So please get out and vote. My email address is on my website. Call me, email me anytime. I try to respond to everybody, and I hope to earn your vote.